Hey, it's your girl, Millie Mills. Welcome to another great edition of the weekly show, Bring It in the House. This is where we spotlight musicians, entertainers, artists, and leaders. And of course, we have a fabulous leader in the house tonight. She's in from the Arkansas area. She's a blogger. She's an author. She has an upcoming book coming about pretty soon. She has her own podcast show, Bible Study Girl, and she's gifted and talented. Please, everyone, give a warm welcome to Sarita Fulcher. Woo!
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I'm
How
doing
you
well.
doing? Awesome. You look beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
looking like your mom. I know you hear that all the time, I'm sure.
Do I do all the time.
Yes, yes, yes. So you have so much talent. I mean, you got your hands in a little bit of everything. So we're going to start out with your blogging. I mean, when did this come about for you?
Blogging started for me in 2019. Well, I guess I could go back in time
Go
because
back
really
further.
I started writing and expressing myself through writing when I was a kid. I was super dramatic. Like, if I had an emotion, it would be a big emotion. And so I like to slam doors a lot and all of that. And my mama really was like, I think she was ahead of the wave of gentle parenting, because she was like, we need to get these emotions under control. How about this? When you get really mad or upset or frustrated, I need for you to sit down and write about it, and then we can talk about it later. Like, give you time to process it. So, I started keeping journals when I was a kid, and Bible Study Girl was born, the blog, in 2019.
In
I
29.
was I had been through a season of depression. And so I
Mhm.
went back to my old standby. What do you do when you have really big emotions and when your feelings are really big? You write. And so I sat
Right
down
about.
and I started writing. And I was very hesitant to do it, because these are my very real emotions, my very real feelings, but I'm giving it to the world. Um,
Yes.
but I did it.
You did it. You did it. So let's go back a little bit. So you are originally from Little Rock, Arkansas.
I am. I was born in Elaine, Arkansas, but I was raised from first
Right.
grade on in Little Rock.
Okay. And what high school did you attend in Little Rock?
I'm going to claim two high schools. The first high school that I attended was Marble High School, class of 1983. My mama was 9 months pregnant when she walked across the stage. So I went through her whole senior year with her. So I will claim Marble High School, class of 1983. And I actually graduated from J.A. Fair in Little Rock in 2001.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Your mom, we're classmates. So yeah. So you walked with me too. Oh, it's so sweet. It is so sweet. So when you were in high school, who was your favorite teacher? Can you recall? And why?
It's funny you should ask that because the podcast today is not talking about my favorite teacher, but it is talking about a teacher that I had in high school. I don't really have a favorite teacher, but I can tell you about Miss Pickering. She was my AP English teacher. She was a tough teacher. She had really high standards.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took AP English because that's what you did. Like, if they feel like you're
Yeah.
smart, you take the class. And when you take AB classes, you can take the test when you finish the class to get college credit. Well, that was never one of my goals or never anything I really intended to do. So Miss Pickering was asking me, like, do you have your money for the test? And I was like, oh man, I forgot it. I don't have my money to take this test. I really didn't forget. I just had no intention of taking the test. But Miss Pickering pulled out her personal checkbook and wrote a check for me to take the test because she was like, why would you pass up this opportunity? Like, I don't know if you don't have it or what, but I'm going to pay for you. So she paid for me to take the test. I passed and I got college credit. And of course, I had to go home and tell my mama, we need to write this lady a check.
Yeah.
She has paid for my test. You know, my mom gladly would have done that for me, but I didn't think I could do it. So,
Wow. And look at the rewards. Look what came from that, from
right.
taking that test. Yeah. And from there, you got the college credit. And what happened from there?
I used that college credit, of course, so that helped me. You know, I ended up with a scholarship to college,
Yeah.
but that
That's
did
right.
help me have less credits that I needed to take to graduate. So it was very helpful.
Yes, yes, and it really kind of like prepared you for your the road of success that you're on now. At least that's what I think. That is so awesome. I love your mom. I know how she's pushing you, even when you're like, okay, it's whatever. She's like, oh no, no, we're going. She's probably was pushing you on. I'm sure.
She's always a pusher. She is
Yeah.
probably one of my number one supporters and pushers.
Supporters. I know. I know. What would we do? What would we do without mom? Yes. And then you got, of course, as you mentioned, you had your podcast show. It comes on every week. Every Saturday
Saturday, new episode drops at midnight.
at midnight. That is amazing. And your podcast show, of course, guys, are you just tuning in? It's BSG, which stands for Bible Study Girl. And you can catch it. Is so much inspiration. I want to be on the show myself. Okay. Oh, tell us how did you come about with the name? Well, I think I know already, but explain to the viewers, how did Bible Study Girl come about?
You know, I talked to you earlier about how I was hesitant to share my writing to the world.
Yeah.
It's not something I discuss with anybody. Normally, I like to get input from different people. Like, do y'all
Mhm.
think this is possible? Is this something I could do? But this is something I did completely on my own. I feel like the Lord was telling me, girl, this is what you need to do. So do it. And I felt like I got multiple signs to do it. And so I bit the bullet and I came up with a name in my head and I typed in the domain name to start my website and the name was available. And so I went with that name. And then something said, why don't you Google this name to see if anybody else is using the name in any other way? And somebody was. Somebody had a whole podcast, they had an Instagram page. It was like so much going on. And I was panicking. I'm like, I need a name for this blog because the one I picked is not going to work. And so I had to think quickly and I came to Bible Study Girl because I started a Bible study group probably back in 2011 or 2012. Started
Mhm.
off with, I don't know, just a lot of random people. And we whittled down to like a core group of six. And we just called ourselves the Bible Study Girls. So in my panic, I was like, Bible Study Girl. And it was available. Nobody else was using it. And that's how I landed on the name. But it's not the original name I had for
Yeah.
the podcast, but it worked out.
It worked out just fine. Yeah, it did. I love that name. It's very catchy. I love it. And you got some viewers here. I was looking here. Of course, your mom is tuning in, and then Marcella Town Winston, and she says hello, and she says you are young, gifted, and anointed, and she loves reading your blogs. So,
Oh,
and yeah, and
you.
your mom was saying, "Oh," so you got people tuning in, and got all the support behind you. And if someone wanted to be on your show, I mean, how do they get booked?
They can go to Bible Study Girl, my Facebook page, and just send a message. They can also go to Bible Study Girl 2019 at gmail.com, shoot
Mm-hmm.
an email. If they are my friend, they can text me. I love people's stories, and I love to hear about other people's walk with Christ. That's important to me.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
very important to me. I feel like a lot of times we get a sanitized version of what Christianity is or should be, and we don't have a group or a community of people that are believers that will be honest with us and real and talk about their real struggles. And so I am I'm a big proponent of I want to hear your story. I want to know what your walk is like because I think it really can help other people whether they believe in Christ or not. I believe it can help. So yeah, use any of those ways to contact me. I want
Mhm.
you to talk.
Yes, yes, yeah. So I look, I'm looking because I want to be on this show. I want to be on this show. You know, I'm such a big kid, but yeah, I I'm a little shy sometimes, but when it comes to talking about, you know, overcoming and God bringing you through, I get a little winded in that area. I really do because I've seen him, show out in so many ways in each of our lives, not just mine. So yeah, I love what you're doing. You're doing great work, to allow that kind of platform for, people to come on and talk about that the relationship or experiences, with Christ or yeah. So hey. So I also know that you work with your brother. Your brother, of course, he was on the show last month, and he had told me that you were like the wind beneath his sail as far as when it comes to his career in the industry. So tell us a little bit about that. How did that all start out for you? Like being kind of like his manager, so to speak, but you don't really want the title.
I will say this. I am not his manager, but since you said it in a public forum, Joe, are you looking for management? Because I can manage you. You know, I manage your life very well. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Big sister. So you heard it. Maybe that was from the Lord. Maybe I'm supposed to be your manager. I think I would say early on in Joe's rapping career, I did challenge him to not like use profanity. And my brother loves talking. He's a wordsmith. You can ask him a question, he will talk for 10 minutes. And I'm like, well, use some of those other words you have. Like, I think that might be more effective for you. Um, did he necessarily take my advice in the beginning? No, but I think as he grew, he started to think, well, maybe my sister is right. Maybe I should try things a different way. I definitely always encourage him in his music career. And I love music, but I'm not very, I love music. I love to sing like in a choir, not solo. Like
Yeah.
that's not my calling. But I do love music. I enjoy music. And I love to encourage him. He has a new album coming out in the spring of 2023, and we'll be pushing that as the time gets closer. He has two singles out now, Energy and Honeysuckle
Yes.
Summer. You can listen to
Yes.
them on any streaming platform.
Hmm.
That much I have learned from him. I'm going to promote
Yes.
music. Icarus Gray is his stage name.
Icarus Gray. Yes, I love that name. Yes. Yes, he had so much knowledge when he had a lot to bring to the table when he was here. So you just cleared that up. So you're not really looking to manage right now.
We'll manage him. The door has
Yeah.
been opened. Call
Yeah.
me after the show, brother.
Amazing, amazing. So what's next for you, Sarita? What I mean, you got your blogger, you got your podcast show. What do we see next for you coming down the pipe?
Coming down the pipe, my brother and I have been working and talking about creating a YouTube channel for Bible Study Girl, what that would look like, what that entails, what that means. So we have that in the works. We'll be we're getting closer and closer to our 100th episode of the podcast. So my hope
Oh
is
yeah.
by the time we reach 100 that we'll have this YouTube channel up and running so people can see us visually. Although I will tell you, one thing I love about podcasting is that I don't have to do all of this. I can have my bonnet on and you still get some nice sound quality and nobody can see me. But I am excited about the YouTube page. I'm also excited about um, a book that I've been working on off and on for the past 2 years. It's untitled. I don't have a title for it yet. I write a little bit and I walk away and come back and I walk away. It will be, it's definitely not a fiction book. It is about my life, but I'm not quite sure how it's all gonna pan out.
Right. So it's an autobiographical book, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. We're excited. We can't wait to, just get our hands on it. We're encouraging everybody. I just love for authors to support each other, and not so much as authors, but I'm just saying it's good when we all go to Amazon, write those reviews, because those reviews and things like that are so important. It's more to just selling the book, but when you get the reviews, I think that really helps push the book to um more to the edge of being a bestseller. And if you're not trying to become a bestseller, that's fine, as long as somebody enjoys your book, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the whole purpose, is to get a message to someone, in hopefully it'll help someone to do better. Yeah. So just want to kind of get your views on the big thing that's going on now is positive social change, and so I want to get your take on that. When it comes to it's just so much violence and everything in the world, and so much, I don't know. We're living in difficult, I guess, uncertain times. What do you, if you could change, or if you could bring about change, what are your thoughts on that? What would your change be? What would you like to add to it? Because I know it's more than just you. We all got to do our part. So what would your part, or what will your part be?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Uh-huh.
I cannot hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh
Mm-mm.
no. What just happened? Ew. See, I guess we're doing through a little technical difficulty.
I'm
Let me
trying to
see if I
read your
restart.
lips.
You can read my lips, but you can't hear me. Let me see. I
I
may
know
have
you
to
asked
read.
me about positive social change, so I can
Yes.
answer that question while we try to figure out why I cannot hear you.
Why you can't
I
hear me? Let me see.
I'm a big advocate for being empathetic towards people, caring about other people. I think one of
Mhm.
the main callings, I have a Christian, and that the Christians have in general is to be the hands and feet of Christ on this earth. And so, what does that mean and what does that look like? That means I'm helping and I'm caring about others and not so stuck on self, but that I have compassion and empathy, and I don't just talk about wanting change, that I actually am the change, that I do things to help others. And that could be something as simple as giving a meal to a homeless person. And we don't even really have to talk about homeless people. We could talk about our coworkers that we know are having a hard time, or in a rough situation, or having a bad day. It could be something as simple as giving them a meal for their family, just so that's one thing off of their plate that they don't have to deal with. It could be um, taking something nice to your neighbor because or even like cutting your neighbor's hedges. I think if we have more empathy for people and we looked out for other people more, I think the world would definitely be a more
Yes.
solid place. I can
Yes.
hear you now.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
And
All right. Thank God. Ooh. Oh man, I was like, what was going on with that? But thank God. Let me see. I'm trying to respond to everyone while we're talking too. So,
let me
right.
say one other thing. You talked earlier about how some people be shy and not really just want to talk. That's my personality. I'm an introvert. Like I like to be in my shell and to myself. So that's why doing the blog was such an issue. And my brother is actually the one who mentioned a podcast. Podcasting was
Mm-hmm.
never in my mind, never on my brain, never something I thought I was not interested in it. And he was like, well, let's just do one. I want you to try it. Let's just do one. And my brother and I have very different ways of operating. I'm very orderly, like, and I need a list of questions and you need to give me time. And he's like, no, we're going to talk and I'm going to record it. And that's it. Like, that's the way he operates. So, our very first podcast, I was like, Lord, keep me near the. I don't know what this is going to be about. So, yeah, podcasting was all his idea. He's the executive producer of the Bible Study Girl podcast. Our styles are starting to merge. We're having more order. We still have the free spirit, but as we are working together and learning each other's styles, I think we're growing each other. And I'm grateful for it because it's a great opportunity for us to do ministry together. I never imagined a life where I would do ministry with my brother. That was not in my cards, not on my spreadsheet, my to do list. But I'm grateful that he felt the push to try to push me to do something that's completely outside of my comfort zone. And I do want to say too that the Bible City Girl podcast has blessed me in so many ways. And I'm forever will be grateful to him for saying, hey, we should do this, we should try this. Because I've gotten to my cousin passed away last year,
Mm-hmm.
42 years old. I think she was 42 when
I'm
she
so
passed.
sorry.
She passed away. One of the people that I'm closest to on this earth. And because of the podcast, I have her faith journey, her faith testimony in audio form, and I can listen to that forever. And that's such a blessing. And if I was not willing to be pushed outside of my comfort zone by my brother, I wouldn't have that. And it's something that not only blesses me, but I think it blesses anybody that hears it. So
Yeah.
I definitely want to push and plug. You can get outside of your comfort zone because your words and your story and your life and your walk with Christ, they have meaning, they have impact, and people need to hear it. And so
Yes.
it can be uncomfortable to be on a podcast and like talk about faith, especially if it's something you've never done before. But I definitely think it's worth it. And I encourage anybody, if you feel the Lord tugging on your heartstrings right now,
Mm-hmm.
listen, send me a
Yes.
message, please, 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 because we definitely want to hear your story. There's room for it, there's space for it, there's a need for it.
There's a need. That is so true. And I'm with you on that. It wasn't my idea to do a podcast either, believe it or not. Colleagues or friends that have known me for many years knew about my radio career back in the day. And, they came to me, either inboxed me years ago when podcasting was just really, you know, brewing and everything. Like, hey, you ever thought about doing a podcast show? I mean, you were pretty successful in radio at one time. You think you should do it? I'm like, no, me, I don't like being in front of cameras. No, no, no. I'm a behind the scene person. Are you serious? Oh no. Woo. I'm like, And so God sent three different people that asked me at unrelated times. And I would always say, either say no or just think about like, Me? Oh no. And it was the last person was a sorority sister. We also worked together in radio when I was in Memphis, Tennessee. Tina Tilton. She was that last call that I guess God sent through to say, "Hey, you should try this." And I listened to her. For some reason. She got my attention because she had everything set up for me, and she was like, "I'll produce it, for a certain little fee or whatever. And you just, you got to get your own guest. You got to do the other part, but I'll produce it for you." Then I started thinking like, I'll try it. But those first few episodes, I was scared to death.
I was scared to death about today because I told you my podcast is with my brother. I know him. We talk all the time. We have rapport. And also, like I said, like I can look any kind of way when I'm talking to him. But I've been pushing myself lately to just be more obedient and to go outside of my comfort zone because you
Yeah.
never know what God has for you when you're
Yeah.
obedient.
Yes, obedience is better than sacrifice. And you never know what's on the other side. On the other side, if you just do what he asks you to do, you'll find out it's more to it. We can only see what's right here, what's in front of us right here, right now. But God is the only one who knows what's beyond. And that's what we have to, that's why it's good to be obedient. So I'm trying to do all of this just through it's for God. It's not for me. So I hope that he is able to use me to be a blessing to someone through this project, this journey. And beautiful people like you. This is what I get from it. Beautiful people like yourself, I get to talk to every week. And I realized, wow, okay, God, I see what you were trying to tell me. This is pretty cool. If I could get myself out of the way. I think sometimes, yeah, that's it. Go ahead, dear. What were you going to say?
Gonna say, I think that's a struggle for all of us.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah. So I can feel you on that. I am so proud of you. Please don't stop your podcast. Keep them coming. You guys are doing a great job.
We'll keep pushing.
Yes, please. So, if you had a choice, like a celebrity or someone, who would you like to talk to?
I think, like I said earlier, all of the people in the world that want to talk to me,
Just
I don't
okay, whoever. Okay.
have a favorite. I don't have like this is it. Because I've had some discussions with regular everyday people that
Yeah,
nobody may know, as a celebrity, but what they said to me really
exactly.
changed my life and did something transformative for me. So any
Yeah,
guest on my platform is a celebrity. I want
that's
you guys.
exact. That's
I
exactly how
need,
I see it.
I need you. Any person that wants to talk to me, let's talk.
Let's talk. I love that. I love your attitude. That's really, really beautiful. Time is going fast. It's almost up. Well, but do you have any shout outs or any last words of encouragement or anything you like to say before we go?
I want to say hi to my mom and all my family that's watching, and my friends, and anybody that decided to tune in tonight. Last encouraging words I would say, guys. Woo, don't give up on Christ because He won't give up on you. He hasn't given up on me, and I know I don't do it right all the time. So just be encouraged.
That is beautiful. That's rich. That's rich. As he never gives up on us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just been tuning, you just tuning in? Oh, you missed it, man. We had a nice talk with Serena Fulcher. She is a blogger and a podcast host, Bible study girl. Remember that BSG, Bible study girl. Look it up. Check out her shows. If you want to be a guest on her show, go to, you can send her an email, Bible Study Girl 2019 at gmail.com. And, she'll take it from there. It's been a beautiful night. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time I'm supposed to be talking with a national syndicated radio personality, Ace Alexander. We used to work together back in Memphis, Tennessee many years ago. Now he's in Atlanta doing big things on the national network. So don't miss out next time on Bring It in the House. Be safe. We love you. Bye-bye.